On this channel, we talk about ways to redesign our life in order to bring in more freedom, more flexibility, more mobility, more agency, and more autonomy. If that appeals to you, please click the like button and subscribe to this channel, where I'll be taking you on my journey from being on autopilot to taking control of my freedom and happiness. So if you don't know, I recently quit my job in November of 2025. I was a primary school teacher, and while I loved my colleagues and my students and many parts of the job of being a teacher, I really experienced teacher burnout. Like, if there are any other teachers out there, you know that teaching is not a walk in the park. People would always tell me this before I got into the role of teaching, and I was always like, how hard could it be? All you got to do is stand up in front of a group of kids and instruct a lesson. Boy, was I wrong. Like, there are so many things behind the scenes that teachers do, and I'm sure this is common for a lot of other jobs. But essentially, I was experiencing burnout. I really burnt out quickly in my first year, and I just held on for dear life for the next 2 years in my role as a teacher. But the burnout was real. I was gaining weight quickly. I was like breaking out. My skin did not look good. I did not feel healthy. I felt like my life was a whole scramble. I had no sense of routine because I felt like I spent so much time thinking up lesson ideas, planning, going to different stores to buy the materials for my class. All of that planning time just took up so much more time than I wanted it to take up in my life. I was taking work home, I was doing marking and report cards at home, and I just did not have the work-life balance that I wanted. I did hear a lot of people say that teaching is going to get better. Like, as you get up into your 5th and your 6th year, it is going to get better, but I honestly felt like it was getting harder for me. I don't know if it's because I have a type A personality or if because I'm an overachiever that I wasn't allowing myself just to flow with the job and, have boundaries with my work. So it could have been a me problem, but I got to a point where I was just fed up and I just wanted to design a life where I had greater control, where I wasn't going to constantly be burnt out from my workplace, where I wasn't constantly trying to plan a vacation or go for massages or do all these self-cares as an antidote or as a way to repair myself from the damage done from my job. I wanted to live a life where I feel more at ease, where my nervous system was relaxed, where I felt more peaceful, and where I felt more autonomous. And this is the journey that I'm on. And I know that there are other people out there that suffer from burnout or are currently dealing with burnout. And, you feel like you only have that option. You feel like you can't just quit your job. You feel like you can't just pivot and try something new. And I know that it's hard. I know that, finances can make it difficult. Having children, having commitments makes it difficult to make these pivots. But I want to use this platform as a means of sparking dialogue about pivoting, about career changes, about living freely. Because even if you're not able to adapt all of the changes that I discuss and that I share, maybe there's one thing that you can do to feel like you have greater control in your life. Maybe there's one thing that you can change in order to battle burnout. Maybe there's one thing that you can adopt to live out your freest life.